Yo, what's up guys? I hope you're all doing well and welcome to my 100k special video. This is definitely a video I didn't have any plans to make, not because it's not a big achievement for me, but more because I didn't expect to have to make it. I did not expect to even hit 100k within the next few years, to be honest. My goal for the end of this year was 25k, smashed it out of the water, got to 50k really easy as well, and we're at 100k before the end of the year, so yeah, this is a very big surprise for me at this point, but a lot of you guys wanted to see the Silk origin story and kind of how this channel came to be, so today we're going to be covering all of that. Sorry if I'm a bit awkward on camera, I really hate this, but I think it's kind of suitable, so we're going to do it like this. Anyways, for the most part, my channel was never really meant to be taken too seriously. There was two kind of phases, which is the phases that you guys have seen through Battlefield 5 and onwards, where it was pretty serious, and then at the very start as well. I kind of saw like content from my favorite YouTubers at the time, which were like Level Cap and his gang for Battlefield 3, and then I used to play Team Fortress 2 as well, and my favorite content creator was Muzok. And I saw that kind of content, I was like, oh, I can do that as well, I'll do some content just like that stuff. That's a big mistake right there. First lesson with YouTube, guys, you want to find some sort of niche or something that you actually offer that other people don't. I pretty much did the same kind of stuff as those guys did, and I enjoyed making those videos, but ultimately, it didn't really do very well at all. I will say that eventually in Team Fortress 2, I played that game pretty competitively, and Muzok also played it competitively, and I got to play once in a mumble with Muzok on my team. So that was pretty cool. He doesn't remember me, there's no chance of it, but that also happened. Anyways, again, because my content was just, it wasn't really original at all, it wasn't very great compared to other stuff that was already on the platform, it had zero chance of going anywhere, so I kind of gave it up. I had a really average PC, it was literally a laptop. I got bored and it was just too much effort at the time, so I kind of just ditched it. Anyways, I was still gaming a lot after that. I've always been gaming since I was really young, and I just uploaded whatever I was doing at the time. You know, whatever game I'm playing, I just made highlights videos to share with my friends. I played a lot of competitive Team Fortress 2, just uploaded highlights from that. And eventually, I actually found my way to Arma 3 somehow, and this is where it kind of gets a bit more interesting, and it kind of gets a bit more direction to what you guys see today. So up until this point, I had absolutely zero interest in flying in any video games. I mean, I did play Roaming Soldier in Team Fortress 2, so I was pretty good at like rocket jumping, but I wouldn't say that's flying. Anyways, I played all sorts of game modes in Arma 3. If you guys are familiar, I played King of the Hill, played Wasteland, Exile, all that kind of stuff. And King of the Hill was really similar to Battlefield. Some of the top Battlefield 4 players actually ended up transitioning to King of the Hill. And it's funny because I really looked up to a player called Rello. He's now a professional PUBG player. I actually know a few of those now, just from weird coincidences in my gaming career. But I used to really look up to Rello's gameplay in Battlefield 4. And him on an alternate account used to look up to my Arma gameplay later on. So it was like this weird thing where Battlefield players were going to Arma and Arma players were going to Battlefield at a certain point. Anyways, Koth was just, yeah, it was super similar to Battlefield. It was something that I really enjoyed, and I was just a simple infantry crop on Arma. I was getting farmed by everybody, and I just remember being farmed really hard by this one jet pilot, and his group of friends, they all flew jets, and they just gave me the business. Like, every night I played the game, I was getting farmed by jets all the time, and instead of, like, crying about it, I saw the power of the jet, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna grind for this jet, and I'm gonna get good at it. So, I mean, 100 hours later or whatever, how long... It takes a long time to get jets in Arma 3. I eventually did get the jet, and I got really quite good very fast somehow. I found the keys to like Battlefield 4 style, which wasn't really done very often on Arma before I started playing it, but it actually worked really well, and everything felt so natural to me. I got pretty good at the jet pretty quickly. It wasn't long until I could actually kill those people who used to farm me all the time when I was playing infantry. And I loved playing the A164 Wipeout. I'll put a picture of it on the screen somewhere, but it was basically Arma's version of the A10. It was just an absolute beast, and just something about like close air support in video games is really fun. You have a lot of a very influential role on your team. You can carry super hard. It's very enjoyable. I don't even know why, but it just is. And yeah, I actually got addicted to Arma. Like, it was really addictive. The game had a pretty big skill ceiling. A lot of people don't kind of know that, but it's more than a milsim. You can play it kind of like Battlefield, and it's a very skillful game. I actually ended up learning pretty much every aspect of it. The helicopters, went back to infantry, played all the modes, got pretty good at the game, and I actually got to meet heaps of cool people through Arma as well. If you guys play PUBG, you might know Tiggleton, probably the GOAT of the game at this point. It sounds super cheesy, and I don't even know if this is a thing, but he was kind of like my best internet friend, if you want to put it that way. We played Arma all the time together, like literally every day. And I met him in some TeamSpeak server for an Arma Koth server that I used to play on. And he wanted to learn jet, so I gave him my obscure Battlefield 4 style bindings that no one was using at the time. As it turns out, like, a lot of the top Arma players ended up using that binding scheme, and it was a really good way to play the game, and we played a lot together. He's extremely talented. He probably became the GOAT of Arma 3 Koth, in my opinion. And I ended up wrapping it up as probably one of the better jet pilots in King of the Hill at that time. Anyways, because of this, I farmed pretty damn hard, and I got banned from pretty much every server. I basically killed an admin too many times, and he banned me for nothing, so I helped him into his TeamSpeak channel. I was heated. Started flaming him out, like, you know, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why am I banned? And I was globally perma-banned from the server from then on. So, my jet addiction kind of couldn't be solved at that point. They got banned from Arma. That kind of sucked. And I had to find another game, and I wanted to fly jets because it was really, really fun. I entered Battlefield 4 at that point. I got into the attack jet, and I just started grinding it. And actually, my Arma knowledge allowed me to pick up the jets really, really quickly. It took me about a week or two to start dropping like 50 and 0 gameplays, and I had this Parasol server. It's called Games on Net number 43. A lot of the guys who know me for like a long time will know that I literally just only played on this Parasol Storm 24/7 server. That was my home right there. I grinded jets so hard, and because Battlefield 4 has such a high skill ceiling, that game became a really big time sink for me. I ended up just doing more than jets in the end. I tried to learn every part of the game, and it was super addictive. I uploaded highlights videos throughout all this time. I uploaded, you know, in Arma, I was also doing highlights videos, and I would say Arma is when my channel started to like blow up a little bit. I got to like 500 subs there, and I didn't really see much traction in Arma, but I didn't really care. It was just, my titles were literally Battlefield 4 Scraps version 20, and it was just a highlight video, you know, that kind of stuff. It was just for my friends to watch. Anyways, at some point, Battlefield 1 came out, and that game just ended up being a bit of a skip for me. I just didn't see the same kind of skill ceiling that Battlefield 4 had to offer, and at the time Battlefield 4 had like plenty of servers to play on, so I had no real reason to go to it. And eventually I kind of just started getting bored of Battlefield 4 at some point. All my friends were in Battlefield 1, so it was kind of lonely over there, and I had to find some other game to play. And luckily PUBG just came along at that time, and I had a lot of my old Arma friends who were ex-pro CS players. They also happened to be very good at PUBG, and they actually invited me to play with them, so that was really good fun. We had a lot of great times with those guys, and I actually messaged another old friend from Arma saying that he'd love PUBG and that he should buy it. And I mean, that friend was Tiggleton. Now he's a PGI world champion, probably the GOAT of that game in my opinion. So, I mean, everything lined up really well for him, and he had insane talent. And honestly, within weeks, you could tell that he would play that game professionally. Anyways, we were pretty solid as a squad, and we pretty much always held top 10 spots on the leaderboards. I made my highlight videos on that game. Didn't really get any traction out of it, but it was just for friends and, you know, just to show people what I was doing at the time. So off of the little bit of success I saw in PUBG, being on the top 10 and all that stuff, I managed to get invited to all those discords and all the competitive discords, and we actually played that game a little bit competitively just for one season. There was no money in it, it was just for fun. Actually on a team with Tiggleton and some other blokes that I actually, you know, stayed in touch with most of them, and they're all really cool guys. So that game was fun just because of the people I played it with, and I just didn't see any future in that game competitively. I kind of lost the passion to play that game full stop because there's so many cheaters in my region. So I ended up quitting for Fortnite, and I'm not proud of it. Of course I'm not proud of it, but Fortnite has a really good kind of competitive scene to it because the game is so... It has such an insane skill gap. Like, if I look at my gameplay, I was at a pretty good level when I played. I played competitively at pretty much the highest level in Australia, and I look at my gameplay from a few years ago, and I look like a bot compared to some of these people who are playing now. Like, you have to play hours and hours a day just to keep up with the skill ceiling for that game, and that's something that I missed from Battlefield 4, and Fortnite just fed it to me straight away. So I really enjoy that game, but unfortunately, again, I didn't see any kind of future competitively for that game. You know, no earnings, none of that. A few months later, there was a lot of money in it, but I already quit by that point, and Battlefield 5 had come out. And in the end, that wasn't such a bad thing, because Battlefield 5 is when my channel really started to take off. I had a really good foundation from pretty much all the other games I played to do pretty well in Battlefield 5. Not that there's much to it, but I was using the fighter planes a lot, and I was just farming. Like, I was playing really well, pretty much from week 1. And a lot of people were asking, like, you know, how do you do it? Can you upload a raw gameplay? No edits, just upload a raw gameplay of you playing in the plane on BF5. So I loaded into a Fiel lobby, literally the next match I played, recorded it, put it on YouTube. It was just a 65-1, you know, nothing too crazy. I'd hit better before. No clickbait title, no thumbnail, nothing. Well, that video literally blew up, and that's the video I credit for kind of taking my channel to the next level. It had something like 12,000 views overnight, and I was gaining hundreds of subscribers every day. I kept on putting out similar content to this because it worked well the first time. It was just full rounds with like crazy stats and the odd montage here and there. And eventually people just wanted, they wanted more. They wanted a stream and they wanted educational content like commentaries and just kind of talking through my gameplay. This was something I sucked at to begin with, and I couldn't even stream on my PC that I was using at the time. So I had to get a lot of extra hours at work. I saved up for a few PC upgrades and I tried to stream. Anyways, every single video I would literally just, read the comments. Negative, positive, doesn't matter. I would take in the feedback that you guys gave me on literally every single video. And that's what really improved my commentary style content. You guys literally taught me how to do YouTube content. It's 100% how it was. And I really have to thank you guys for that. I appreciate the honesty, and criticism always outweighs compliments in that kind of aspect. Anyways, I started streaming the game as well, and thanks to my YouTube following that I had at the time, I pretty much started with 30 to 40 viewers, which is just really, really good. And I was honestly just a bit of a bot socially, but it took me ages to feel comfortable on stream. I mean, my first few months of streaming, I just found it nerve-wracking. Like, all these players that I actually looked up to, like, would appear in my chat, and it just destroyed me. I couldn't focus on the game. If I see some name that is a player that I looked up to at the time, it just, yeah, it would remove my ability to play the match. Eventually we got a bit better with it though, pretty luckily, and I was in my final year of school at the time, so it was really, really hard to keep up with this schedule. I was taking some pretty hard subjects as well, and combined with the rough state of BF5, I just had to put it down. I lost the energy to do content, and I kind of just disappeared for a while. So my channel kind of ended there publicly, but on the private side of things, I had these unlisted videos that I'd make of whatever I was doing. Played Apex with a few good mates, got pretty good at that game, just uploaded my highlights, whatever, but it was all unlisted. I was kind of just, I don't know, it was weird. I was just kind of scared to disappoint everyone if I uploaded low effort content after getting better with my content, My standards had elevated at that point, so all my videos during Apex were pretty much unlisted, just to show to my mates. And luckily I actually got to play with some really good Apex players as well. I got to play with some pros like Airson and Templex. Air's still a really, really good mate of mine to this day, so that's pretty cool. And because my YouTube had blown up again, you guys didn't see any of that because I was just scared to upload it. Anyways, I was also just getting started with my degree at this time. I am doing mechanical engineering, and gaming was just back to a hobby at this point. I just played games in my spare time and whatever I wanted just to burn free time, because I thought at this time my YouTube was dead, right? Eventually, I got a bit of free time, and I got back into Battlefield 5 because of the Pacific update. It looked really, really good. There was a lot of direction for the game once again, so I actually really enjoyed that. And the planes were absolutely broken. Probably some of the most broken planes Battlefield has ever seen. So that was perfect for my channel, and yeah, I actually uploaded some of the biggest kill streaks on YouTube, and, to my surprise, you guys actually came back. I can't thank you guys enough for that. It could have easily been the end of my channel right then and there. And honestly, if you guys didn't come back at that point, I probably would have just given up a few months later and I never would have returned. I would have called it quits and that would have been it. But you guys did come back, and yeah, YouTube really, really started to take off. Unfortunately, DICE killed the game with a TTK patch, and that really, really just hurt everyone on YouTube. A lot of people quit the game. A lot of people went to like Warzone and all that kind of stuff. And as my university summer break came to a close, I just lost the drive to make content. Each and every single one of my videos kind of felt the same. I was drilling the same points home on every single video. And that's just how Battlefield 5 was. I mean, there wasn't much skill to what I was doing. I didn't enjoy it at all. So, again, yet again, I did quit YouTube one more time. This time it was getting because of my university. It was just too much focus on something I didn't really care about. And year 2 university was much harder than year 1. So I actually had to put some more effort into that. Anyways, after the second time quitting, I definitely felt like more attached to my YouTube. I got more and more bored working my day job, which was just stacking shelves at a supermarket. And I'm someone that enjoys kind of working harder. I don't, like when I was working shifts at my job, I work much more efficiently, and the shift goes way faster when I was just working as hard as I could. And I've like kind of like psychopathically competitive at a certain point. Like I was literally trying to fill faster than the guy next to me just to have something to focus on at the work. And that's literally what got me through these shifts. But the thing is, that job just didn't reward what I liked, which was, working harder. You wouldn't get paid more if you worked harder. The best efficient way to do it is just to slack off, basically. The job that does reward you for working harder is actually YouTube. So I went back to it, and reflecting on these things, yeah, I just realized YouTube is literally the best option if you want to see proportional success to how hard you work. So yeah, that was really a good decision for me in the end. And I just worked as hard as I could on my YouTube videos. I saw BF4 kind of re-entered the YouTube algorithm a little bit after BF5 died off. And that really just, it got me motivated because I could do BF4 as well. And that was the idea. So I started coming back with BF5 content. I eventually phased it to Battlefield 4. And BF4 did really well. So I just ditched BF5 at that point, and that was the last you saw of me playing BF5. It was just not a game I was interested in. And it was just so great to be able to play a game I really loved, which is Battlefield 4. Anyways, I had a plan at this point, which was to try to get my channel into a good spot for 2042 so I can be that air vehicle guy for that game. And I pretty much made a stream schedule. I literally stuck to it by the minute, and it really went well. I committed at least as much as I could to YouTube while not sacrificing my uni. But eventually, you know, sacrifices pretty much had to be made. I wasn't going to anything that wasn't assessed kind of class. And I really just got driven by how much BF4 was received on my channel. Anyways, after quitting that second time, it really kind of hit me a bit more. I missed YouTube a lot more after that point. And it was also at the time where I was kind of realizing that my day job, I was never really going to be rewarded for working harder. The way I got through shifts was literally just by pushing myself and trying to work as hard as possible, because that's what I found fun. I'm a very competitive person. I was literally just trying to fill faster than the guy next to me. So that's what got me through shifts. I'm just a weirdly psychopathically competitive guy, and that's what got me through work. But I actually realized that, you know, it wasn't going to be rewarded. There was no point working harder. Like, you literally don't benefit from it at all. You're going to get paid the same at the end of the day. So I ended up, you know, looking for something that would pay me more depending on how hard I work. And you know what does that? I mean, YouTube does that, right? You can work for yourself. The harder you work, the bigger your channel gets, and the better it does. So YouTube was kind of my perfect job in that sense, and I actually ended up realizing that, and I made plans to come back. And my plans were basically to come back and try to set my channel up to be the primary source of air content for 2042, which is hopefully what I'm going to achieve, or if not, I may have already achieved. I don't know. It's up to you guys there, but that's what I wanted to do. And I also saw that Battlefield 4 was re-entering the algorithm on YouTube, and that was really motivating, because while I didn't like BF5, I had a real passion for Battlefield 4. So I had a plan, you know, I had everything ready to go, and I pretty much just went for it. I went for it as hard as I could. I committed to a stream schedule, and I held it to the minute literally every single week. I committed to a weekly video, and the pace was just going really well. And the best part was just how well BF4 was being received on my channel. I decided to test the waters with the BF4 content. I expected it to flop because I thought the game was just totally dead. I mean, that didn't happen though. The BF4 content consistently did better than the BF5 content. And I ditched BF5, and I was finally playing a game that I enjoyed again. And content is just so much easier when you're actually doing something you love. So that was really great, really motivating, and content was something I looked forward to once again. And finally, roughly mid-April, I managed to quit my job. And that was one of my main goals, and they were always really flexible with hours, and both the managers are actually just great people. So I asked for some time off to focus on YouTube, and I wasn't really like officially quitting at the time. I just taken time off. I never ended up coming back. That was like the best decision I've ever made, and I'm really grateful for you guys to like allowing that to happen in the first place. The grind just continued though. At that point, I was seeing really great numbers on both YouTube and Twitch, and everything was just happening at a crazy rate. And then we enter the Twitch Prime phase of Battlefield 4, which is where my channel really started to take off. Basically, Battlefield 4 was given for free on Twitch Prime, and that saw a huge influx of players. I was averaging like double to triple my viewers on Twitch, and every single YouTube video was blowing up. My channel skyrocketed to like 50,000 subscribers. I was getting brand deals for the first time ever, and YouTube was like looking like a real job for once, which is absolutely crazy. But honestly, it definitely did take its toll. Between university, YouTube, Twitch, and the slither of real life stuff I had left, I had literally no free time. Like, it wasn't unusual to be working on everything for combined maybe 16 hours a day. And I quit literally everything non-essential. Like, the gym, I mean, my health didn't matter at the time. I just quit that, and I did things that were essential. I mean, all that stuff, it actually didn't really cause me to burn out of YouTube. My YouTube was doing too well at the time. It caused me to burn out of uni. I just lost the drive for it, and I started to really hate it. So I decided that I needed a break, so I took one semester off YouTube and decided to go full-time with content. So from there, we ended up grinding out Battlefield 4 until 2042 release, and I guess here we are now at the 2042 release. You guys all know how it went from here. 100k subs. I can't thank you guys enough for that, and You know, I definitely made some mistakes on my way here, but I regret pretty much none of it because honestly, you just kind of have to listen to yourself sometimes, you know. If a grind is absolutely killing you as a person, you got to take a break here and there, and eventually we did get to where I wanted to get to, and now we're just going to go beyond. My goals haven't stopped here. I want to keep going with this YouTube stuff, and I just can't thank you guys enough for enabling all that stuff to happen. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. That's how I got to 100k subscribers, and again, thank you so much for that. Not sure if anyone will even really watch this video, to be honest, but for anyone interested, I mean, here it is. There you go. Anyways, take it easy, guys. Hope you're all doing well today and all of that stuff. Yeah, peace.